Hi, this is Greg Monty, and this is the EMERGEinSTEM Learning Blade Module 3 for students. It's all about getting you registered into Learning Blade and then enrolling in classes that your teachers are conducting Learning Blade with. So, I'm the director of the Energy Research Center at A&T University here in Greensboro, and I'm back again to continue this video module 3 about Learning Blade. And most of you have already done the consent forms, assent forms, and pre-surveys, and I thank you all for doing that and helping my research. This is a National Science Foundation EMERGEinSTEM grant, and today we're just going to register you into the classes of your teachers. And the goal of the research, as you might remember from the last video, is to study the impact of career exposure on student interest in STEM and whether or not career exposure affects your STEM pathways to the workforce. The last thing I'll mention is again that we have a 3D printer award program going on right now, and your school can win a 3D printer, which I think it already has because you've all done your consent, assent, and pre-surveys. Again, a big thank you. The next step is to get you all registered into the classes of your teachers, and that's what this particular video is about, and I'm going to walk you through that process. It'll take less than 10 minutes, and then the last part of the program is going to be based on your Learning Blade usage, and if you all average about 8 lessons over the whole year, which is only about 2 hours of total time, my research center is going to buy a bunch of different colored filaments for your 3D printers. So let's get you all registered into Learning Blade for your classes, and then this will be a very quick process. So the first thing I want you to do is get your computers out and go to learningblade.com, and I'm going to enter this in my search engine at the top, learningblade.com, and hit enter. It'll take me to the Learning Blade homepage. In the upper right hand corner there's a login button. So you're going to click the login button, and of course you haven't logged into Learning Blade in the past, or if you have, you'll follow a slightly different process. We'll talk about that in a moment. So the first thing we need to do is do a student self sign up. So each of you is going to register yourselves into Learning Blade. We click on that link that says student self sign up, and you're going to enter the class code that your teacher has written on the board in front of you. In this case, I'm going to write AB3239, which I happen to know is a class code for a science class, and I'm going to hit submit. So your school name should show up in the upper portion of the screen, and your class name, the class that your teacher you're presently sitting in, should also show up. And what we want you to do now is fill in some information about yourselves, the student details as it says at the top of the screen. So I'm going to do that for myself. I'm going to type my full name, Gregory Monty, and my username, and I'm going to make up a username for myself. But this is your student ID number. It should be between a 9 and 12 digit number with no letters, no alphabetic characters in it. So I'm just going to pick a random sequence of numbers and enter that for myself. And then I'm going to create a password, which you will do for yourselves, and verify the password that you selected. In the student ID, I don't want you to put anything, only the username, which is your student ID number, that 9 to 12 digit number. We don't need a homeroom teacher. You can enter your email address for any communication that your teacher might want to do with you through Learning Blade, and the rest of the screen you can leave blank. All the demographic information is not necessary, it won't be used, and because you already did that in your pre-surveys. And then click on the register button, and what will happen, it'll say that you're now registered in the class, and then it'll tell you that you can log in using the login page. So it takes you back to a login page. So what you've just done is you have registered yourself in that class code that your teacher wrote on your screen. And this was the very first time that you entered into Learning Blade. For all other teachers that might want you to use a class code and register yourselves in their class in Learning Blade, you're going to follow a slightly different process, simpler process. So now you can enter your username, and I'm going to use my number that I just entered for my username and click the login button. You should do the same, and you'll come up with a screen that looks like this, which lists all the missions that you could potentially do in the software. What we want to do is register you for other classes. Other teachers will give you other class codes. The way you do that is you go to Resources, and then on the right hand side of this window it says Class Code Entry. Enter class code provided by your teacher. You click that once, and then you can enter the class code, and I'm going to enter a different class code, 29149C, and hit Submit. It says I'm already enrolled for that class, so let me pick a different class code number that I happen to have. I'm going to use D99EB9. So you'll be entering the class codes of the other teachers that ask you to register yourselves in their class in Learning Blade. So each teacher you have will have its own class code for their class, and you'll be entering it after you log in. You hit Submit, and it says I've joined Science Class 2, and I click OK. And that's all there is to it. Any and all of your teachers in your school may give you a class code, and all you need to do is go to learningblade.com and sign in as a student and enter the class code, and you will be put into the roll or the roster, if you would, for that class, for that teacher. And then from now on, after that point, you'll be having a chance to use Learning Blade and do lessons as assigned by your teacher. So that's all there is to it. If you ever need to return to this video, you can. It's module number 3 of EMERGEinSTEM Learning Blade. Thank you. Bye.